Good morning, I am Samson Balogun and this is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, Ibadan. We begin with a growing dispute that speaks to the welfare, responsibility and trust in government. Pensioners in the Southwest are threatening legal action against state governments over unpaid gratuities. For many retirees, these payments are not optional. They are earned entitlements. So what happens when those obligations are delayed? One, what does this mean for confidence in public institutions and the treatment of those who have already served? That is our Daybreak gist this morning. We'll also bring you the weather report and shortly after Daybreak news with major developments shaping the day.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelakon. We then turn to the newspaper headlines. The front pages this morning reflect a mix of economic pressure, political positioning and public reaction. We'll examine the key stories and the context behind them with our analyst Oluwole Oluwashim, an aviation instructor and public affairs analyst. Our big story looks ahead to the shifting dynamics of Nigeria's political landscape, 2027 power play, Makinde and other aggrieved political heavyweights explore ADC coalition. Can a united opposition really happen? As conversations around alliances begin to take shape, we ask whether political differences can be set aside in pursuit of a common goal and what a coalition could mean for the future of opposition politics. Joining us for that conversation is Sam Woko, Deputy Editor at the Nigerian Tribune.
And before we close this morning, we'll close with Trend Watch and we'll highlight the stories and conversations gaining traction across the country.
It's a morning of perspective and hard questions.
Right. Let's begin.
Yeah,
good morning to you, Yemi.
Good morning, Samson.
It's really nice to have you back on the table. Of
nice
course.
to have you back.
Well, it seems like it's vice versa anyway.
Right.
But then, the stories, just like we always say, are not slowing down. And pensioners are threatening to sue Southwest governors over unpaid gratuities and some other dues, monies and things that are due to them. I begin to ask another question now, because every time we come here, we ask the hard and of course the right questions about how responsible are people in government, how responsible is the government, and how responsible are the people who are to be governed. And this morning, this question is directed to the government itself, Southwest governors, to be clear. And the question is, if people have served for so number of years, in some cases maybe 30, 35 years, you have served for 35 years. And if you check what is due to you, I mean, it's what some people will make in 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, depending on what they do for a living. But that put aside, these people have worked. And they are saying, look, this is what is due to us. We are not asking you to do too much. All we are asking is just pay us what we know that we deserve from you. And then the question is, why do we have this back and forth over pensions? I think there should be a standing order that says no governor should owe pensions. I mean, you don't owe people for what they have worked for. You don't owe people for what they are working for right now. I mean, once they deserve a certain payment, I mean, give it to them. And another question is, you will see people going around the country now saying, look, governors now make more money. Okay, yes, we understand. Allocations have increased. Even IGR has increased. And then the question is, where are these monies going? Why are governors not putting them to good use, especially when it comes to settling debts that has to do with pensions and gratuities and some other things like that? This is a very big one, actually, because if I have worked for 35 years, all I'm looking for, at least at that time, anyone that still works, right, out of the pensioners, it will just be passive kind of thing. No, they are not going to be that active, meaning they have spent all their productive years serving the government. So why are they not getting what they deserve at this time?
Honestly, it's really sad though, and then no matter how much you took it, it doesn't make sense that 10, 15 years ago pensioners were complaining, 20 years ago pensioners were complaining, and 2026
it hasn't changed.
Are still complaining. And then I remember that there was even a time in a particular state in Southwest that a particular governor did not even want to hear anything about pensioners, and then it led to the death of so many persons died because of that. And then it's really sad when you meet some of them at the bank and they're trying to
feel really sorry for them.
Registration of the other. Some of them will always ask me, oh, please, can you let me read this, can you help me fill this? And then you see them, they are old. A lot of them, honestly, I don't know how we got here. And then looking at the fact that, when I read the story, I discovered that, some of them are not being paid for as far back as 2011. So they are owing them. Some governors are still owing. Some of them have left office, but then the state is still owing them for 2011.
Then it is safe to say the state is owing, no governors are owing. But definitely, you were in office for maybe 8 years, and then you left them hanging. No payment, no communication whatsoever. They talk to you, no response. They have taken these cases to court over and over again. They have spoken. There has been industrial action to, influenced by the labor unions to make sure that these people are well taken care of. But then, nothing.
It's really sad, though, and I don't know how the government will try to do this. And then it's actually I want to say maybe kudos to some of the governors, because I think they had a meeting, the Southwest, pensioner, group. They had a meeting yesterday, and that was where the PR said quite a number of things. And then he said, 2 governors have actually been doing them, they've been doing well in terms of paying them, at the right time. He mentioned Governor Loki Orimisan Aiyedatiwa of Ondo State, and then he mentioned Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State. 2 governors out of how many? So I think it's a call out to the other governors to say that they can also do better in terms of paying these people. And he also mentioned that they've even reached out to some big shots in the country to help them beg. That was the word he used, to beg these governors to pay up. He mentioned that I think currently it's about 25,000 naira. I don't know whether that's the same for every other person across the country. Imagine what can that do? I mean, for people who are served for the for 30, 35 years of their lives, and then in this economy, and they are left with that amount, and then to even make situations worse, you are not even paying them when you should. The money is not even something to write them about. And then he also mentioned something that they are reaching out to labor unions to help them negotiate a better pay, for the pensioners. I think that's a good one. But then how swift will that be, speaking to these labor unions in terms of negotiating for them, because the amount is really ridiculous. I remember there was even a time that the police officers also staged a protest about their pension, that they are not receiving it, or more issue where it was instrumental to that protest. And a lot of persons were saying, why is it that he's always trying to insert himself in every issue in the country? But then beyond that, can we look at the good part? So if every sector is complaining about pension, then it means something is wrong with the country. This is just Southwest alone. We really cannot tell whether North East, Northwest, North Central, whether South, whether things are better over there. So in Southwest alone, only 2 governors are performing, speaking about pension. So we still have other governors. It's really sad that we are at this point. So if pensioners need to beg to get their own gratuities, it's sad. I remember there was even a time that it was just, I think before the 2000, it was just the federal government that was set aside a budget to pay the pensioners. But it got to a point in time we had the CPS, that's the contributory, pension scheme, that, even the employer, the employee, they contribute a certain amount of money every month, and then the government also adds something to it. So at the end of the day, I think it should get better because of that scheme, but then it's not looking good. So even beyond that, pensioners are still complaining bitterly about their money. These people have families to feed. Yes, some of them, they have given birth to children who can actually feed them, but how many? That's why I said when you meet some of them at the bank trying to do one registration or the other, you feel pity. Sometimes if you have money, you can even drop to say, sir, just manage this and use it for transport or something like that. In a country where they work, you're not asking for free money. They actually deserve this. So we need to look at maybe a total overhaul of that system, of the entire system, and then how can we improve the pay? Because these are the issues.
I was coming to that issue of pay, and I have spoken with so many people, especially pensioners in Oyo State and some other states across the country, and sometimes when I listen to them and they speak, you would really feel sorry for them, because it's a sorry state. Now let's break it down a little bit so that people can know exactly what they are going through. If you see someone that tells you I'm a pensioner, you should just, by the mere hearing that from them, just pity them. That's one thing, is that in reality, in Nigeria as we speak, especially in the southwestern part of the country, for state and local government employees, they earn as low as 450 naira, 450 naira to 1,000 naira monthly as pensions. Okay, and in some cases maybe 500, some earn as high as 3,500, depending on what ministry you worked. But then, as at 2026, reports confirm the cases of people still getting 400 to 450 naira as pension on a monthly basis. The reason why I said some have given up on pension scheme in Nigeria is that they no longer go there. They don't even ask for it anymore, because when they see the alert and they are saying 400 naira, maybe some of them will wait for 4 or 5 years before they can go there and maybe withdraw 10,000 naira. I mean, that's what they will do. Just leave it in that account. So basically, the lowest recorded pension will be 400. And in some places, especially for federal employees, some earn as high as 30,000 to maybe 200,000, depending on how your rank was before what level you were in service before you retired. So what I'm trying to say is, it is uneven, unequal. Federal civil servants are well taken care of in some cases. Even 30,000 is not enough to do anything in Nigeria right now, especially as an adult. So if you earn 30,000 as pension, yes, you might say, oh, it's still something, but it's not really there. If you compare, just take that 30,000 to the market now and see what exactly you can bring home. That's not even enough to buy a bag of rice.
What can you buy with 30,000? Even under-level student will complain to you that, well, what do you think I can do with 30,000 naira?
So, and these are people who have wives, they have husbands, and they have to survive. So 30,000 is not even enough. How much more of someone that earns 400 naira to 450? So you can say that that is why the responsibility now lies on children that are even struggling. They have not yet made it. And then they have to take care of their parents because they worked for 35 years. But there's nothing to show for it. So away from there are key insights to all of this. Nigeria technically has a pension system. But to be candid and to be honest, it is really a system that doesn't work. It's not working. We have seen people who have been arrested a lot of times. I think at the point, I want to remember his name. I will remember his name shortly. And he took a lot of money that belongs to pensioners, and someone gave him plea bargain, went to jail for a few years and came back. He's still busy spending the money he stole. We have seen, look at what happened to former Inspector General of Police in Nigeria, Tafa Balogun, that stole monies that were meant for, the Police Service Commission and some other things. He stole the money, and one way or the other, they still found a way to sweep the case under the carpet. So the issue now is in Nigeria today, a pensioner can earn 200,000, while the other earn 500 naira. So how is that even? And they are both human beings. Yes, we understand that they were probably on different pay grade when they retired. But hey, there should be a level playing field where you can say, yes, the minimum I earn is still enough for me. I mean, no pensioners will earn less than minimum wage in this country as we speak. So if you say the minimum wage is 70,000 naira, no pensioner should earn less than 70,000 naira on a monthly basis, because that is what they fall back on. They believed at that time that would be something they would fall back on. And that was why they cooperated with the government and they were paying. I mean, even though they had no choice, it was deducted from the source. But basically, the government should look into how can we expand the scope of things and make sure that pensioners are well taken care of. Because you see them, most of them are dying because they can't even cater for themselves. Their health is deteriorating and they can't even afford to go to an hospital. So it's a really sad situation.
Right, and that's the reason why a lot of them found a way to devise another retirement plan, aside from those old 450 naira, 500 naira, right, that, the people in the street will tell you, is it for a bar or for something else? Because I don't know what you're supposed to do.
That's not even enough for a meal.
It cannot even buy a bag of sachet pure water right now, looking at what is going on in the country. So it's really sad. And then one more thing is the fact that you mentioned the pension scheme, because initially, before the CPS, that was in 2004, the CPS came in 2004, and that was supposed to help the situation, but it still failed. And then even recently that we have the RSCs, that's the retirement, savings account, where your money is, and then apart from whatever it is that the government will add to it, that's your own, that they will deduct every month, right, and from your employee, is still not working, and that's about 18%. I think 10% from your employee, and then 10% for you as the employer. 10% from the employer and 8% from the employee. That's 18% for each month, but then it's still not working. So what do you want these people to do?
Some will refresh, and say they have not dropped my money.
It has not dropped. So, and then a lot of them are dependent on this money to still cater for their children. Some people are still, in charge of, catering for their children in terms of, maybe feeding or maybe school, grandchildren and things like that. So I really do not know how we got to this point. And then it's really sad that, some governors campaign with this pension scheme that we are going to do better, and then they are not doing anything. That's why you see a lot of Nigerians will tell you, I'm not interested in reading anybody's manifesto, because at the end of the day, repetition upon repetition, what the last governor did not do, you insert it again in the manifesto.
You just copy, maybe change a few, change the use of English, make it look different, and that's it. It's still the same thing. That doesn't mean when it comes to office, it's going to follow through. You see, the idea of putting the wrong set of people in office, it has lasted for far too long. And I think Nigerians should begin to look in that direction of who can we bring on board that will change things. Now, it's not really about political parties anymore. It should be about an individual. And then when you check their precedences, their antecedents, what exactly have they done before? And it's not, people will say, oh, has he been a member of House of Reps before, or maybe a senator? I mean, that doesn't make him a good politician. That doesn't make him someone that will be so merciful to Nigerian people or people of his state when he eventually becomes governor. Look at them. Who is this person? Okay, there are people who are of questionable character, and it saddens me that even the Nigerians that you are trying to save are the ones that will be defending those people when you talk about it. You should go through some comment sections when you talk about a certain politician, and you tell them with hard-earned facts that this is what this person has done. Some people will be in your comment section. They are keypad warriors. What they do is to defend politicians. They will bully you in your comment section. In fact, you will be forced to lock your comment section if you are not, stone-hearted.
16.
I mean, it's like that. So these are Nigerians. They are suffering. Maybe the 10,000 he earns every month to buy data and then defend this person is not even enough for him to hit maybe in 2-3 days. But he is there. You should check some radio stations across the country now. Just talk about a politician and see the kind of people that will call on your show. They know these facts. They know this person has done this, but they are there to defend them. They will call you and bully you on your own radio show. And that is what they've been doing. They have learned to weaponize poverty. And what they also do is to do divide and rule. Make you fight against your fellow brother just because of a politician. And you ask that person that is busy defending, what exactly have you profited from this person? They cannot mention one thing. All they do, especially, I am really sad for Nigerian women, actually. Because what they do now is to pray sing. They sing for politicians, spread their clothes on the ground, give us money. Some of them will just drop maybe 5,000, 10,000, and that is what they will share, as many as they are. And that is all. That person will leave. Maybe he comes back in the next 2-3 months for another party meeting. He drops another 5,000 or 10,000 naira. Another sad truth is, you see politicians that have been consistent. They know what they are doing. They come with ardent facts about what they plan to do for you. But then you leave them aside because one person brought goodie bag one day. And then you forget about the politicians that have been there and say, look, I have these qualities, I can do it. But because they do not have the money, then you push them aside. I think Nigerians are too selfish. Okay? They believe in the now. They don't think about the future, and they are jeopardizing the future of their own children. Even some that are yet unborn will regret the fact that they had people who lived before them and watched as Nigeria is deteriorating till this pace. Because it's only going to get worse if we don't nip it in the bud.
Honestly, and then to happen that somebody said something, I listened, I watched the video, and it said, you see those politicians who don't have good intentions. The reason why people will keep voting for them is because they understand the language of Nigerians.
They know what they want.
But then you see those ones that have good intentions. They are the ones that will come and tell you,
someone came up with the idea stomach infrastructure. That is what you have to go and study that. He knew at that time that Nigerians were hungry. So why they wanted to just give them food, they will forget for 4 years. They will forget.
Exactly. Electricity is bad. Give them rice.
Give them rice.
There's no.
That's all they need.
Exactly.
They just want to eat.
Bad road. Give them rice. And so these people understand the language, and then it's working. It will keep working for them, unfortunately, until the ones who have good intentions decide to maybe understudy those ones and then do things better. And it's a sad one. And then one more thing is the fact that the governors currently, they are earning. I think you mentioned it. Right. There's over 100% increase in their allocation every single month.
That's another
So what are they doing with the money? The president, several times called out the governors to say, hold your governors accountable. Look at what they are collecting compared to the last 5 years. And then it appears that we are not even seeing the result, except for few governors, that are trying their best to actually do one or two. But then what are they doing with this money? A lot of them, even when they were collecting maybe half of what they are collecting now, they were doing better. So what is going on? Is it about the economy? Are you also going through economic issues? Because I don't understand, because that's the defense now. That's what they come up with. Our economy is bad, prices have gone up, and then it's a lot to unpack actually. So until governors decide side to say we can actually we want to do better. Speak to your manifesto until Nigerians are ready to actually, all these people accountable.
I don't think they go back to that, piece of paper
until it's time for another election, and that's when we go back.
Because they totally forget about what was written in their manifesto. Or maybe someone wrote it for them, you just read, and then you throw it somewhere. The moment you become governor, you do not have a script, no manual whatsoever. It is just on autopilot, and people will begin to what? Do we even have a governor in these states? It's a big one. Now, what are the consequences of leaving pensioners in that situation? It's because you have reduced their spending power. The economy definitely in your state will crash. There is no two ways about it. I mean, no logic can explain it better than the fact that the economy will crash, because
the market people will suffer.
They will suffer because it goes round. When money leaves a particular pocket, it goes to one pocket and then comes back to you. Whether you like it or not, it goes round. So if you leave them hungry, the market women will also starve, because eventually there will be a problem. No customer is coming, and then there is no way they can make money. Also, the fact that there is no steady income for them, they will struggle for basic survival. And that's on you as a governor. That's on you as the president of the nation. Because if they starve, people say, there is a particular saying in Yoruba that that's a blatant lie. People die of hunger.
Right.
Because if you continue to, maybe for 2 years, you are not eating right. I mean, your health deteriorates, and then you will die, because there's no logic, no any other logic can explain it better. You will die. And then if that happens, so what killed him? That's hunger.
Some people died of frustration before hunger killed them. Just like you mentioned, some of them will go to the bank several times, and then they will tell them, oh, you cannot collect this money yet. So now, how much is it?
Remember the time of cashless policy. Some of them died right in front of the bank.
On the road. And then some of them they had money in their accounts, but they could not withdraw because of the craziness in the country at that time. So it's really sad, though. And then just like you mentioned, I think one more thing that we need to work on is like maybe creating a committee that can actually monitor all of this. So if the governor is too busy, obviously he might be busy with quite a number of things. Can we set up a committee that will monitor this? And then how can we fish out those wicked ones that are trying to make life miserable for others? Just like you mentioned that somebody took that money that belongs to thousands of pensioners and then escaped with the money, and then one way or the other was able to actually scale through. How can we fish out people in that sector who are trying to make life difficult for the others? Because at the end of the day, you might think it's not affecting you today. You don't know whether your parents or somebody in the future is going to suffer the same fate in the nearest future. Because that's one thing that Nigerians fail to understand. Because it's not affecting me currently, it does not mean that it cannot affect you in the future. So if you don't fight for it now, if you don't fight for the freedom now, it might come back to haunt you later. Who are those people sabotaging this sector? Because at the end of the day, if you can fish them out, maybe we can still rescue the sector. We don't want a situation whereby in the next 10, 15 years, pensioners will still come and complain. That's why you see that we have remained a developing country for years. Donald Trump will come and call us a country of particular concern. I don't know, somehow now that man is planning to call us another name, maybe trying to devise another, because the situations are there, quite obvious, really. So
lastly, before we go, you mentioned that there should be a committee that would oversee things, perform oversight functions,
right,
and then report back to the governor. You see, all this still falls back on the fact that is the governor willing to do the right thing. Okay, yeah, we just spoke about how much they now earn as governors in their different states. Their allocation has increased, even Nigeria has increased. Yes, you might talk about the value of these currencies, right, but it's not as bad as you are placing it. In fact, I think governors are the reasons why people will continue to discredit the federal government. And I think from now, the president, or maybe the presidency, should start publicizing how much each state got for each month, especially for some other added packages. Someone took 30 billion and said they did not give him anything, and then eventually he said, oh, it wasn't 50 billion, it was 30 billion, it was saved in a bank account, we have spent it on so amount of money. You see, you continue to have this kind of situation when the information does not circulate. So right now, there should be people who understand the pain of the people, okay? Selected as members of those boards, because if you now have praise singers, sycophants in the board, then there's a problem, because eventually they are going to tell the governor what he wants to hear. And unfortunately, we have people who love their egos being massaged. So the moment you tell them, oh, you are doing well, then they feel like they are doing well. but they are not asking the right questions. I was watching something Yeson Wike said yesterday. He said, look, I watch the news myself. I don't want anybody to come and tell me what so person said about me. So I sit down. He knows each time each TV station cast their news. So he sits down and watch all of them. So when you say anything, that's why he's always quick to reply, because he knows what you have said.
That's enough energy. If politicians and serving politicians can actually, imbibe that, if they can invest that kind of energy into doing the right thing for the people, this country, will get better. Honestly.
All right, it's a convenient place to leave that topic this morning. Thank you for being a part of the show so far. But it is time for us to help you plan your day. And we'll be taking weather reports this morning. And that starts with the ancient metropolitan city of hospitality, Ibadan. What does the weather look like in Ibadan as we speak? Right now in Ibadan, weather is currently at 24 degrees Celsius. It is mostly cloudy across the city of Ibadan. But later in the morning, it will rise by 5 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. Partly cloudy with humidity at the bare minimum, and that is 1%. And in the afternoon, rises further to 32 degrees Celsius with a promise of scattered thunderstorms, humidity at 50%. And by evening, it will drop to 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy. Humidity also dropping to 2%, and overnight it drops further to 24 degrees Celsius, cloudy, and humidity will rise by percentage to 3% right here in Ibadan today.
And from Ibadan, we cross to Abeokuta, Ogun. Weather this morning feels like 24 degrees Celsius, and later is expected to be around 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 1%. In the afternoon, we are expecting 32 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 24%. In the evening, it drops to 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 2%. And overnight, it drops further to 24 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 3%. And that's what we have for Abeokuta South this morning.
All right, so still in the southwest this morning, very quickly, we head to the center of excellence, and that is Lagos. Weather in Lagos as we speak will be at 31 degrees Celsius. It is currently cloudy, and later in the morning it will drop just by a degree to 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy with humidity at 6%. And by afternoon, it will return to 31 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, humidity climbing to 24%. And by evening, it drops to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy with 0 chance of humidity. And just by a degree, it drops to 27 degrees Celsius overnight, cloudy with humidity at 2% right there in the center of excellence, Lagos today.
From Lagos, we cross to Ekiti southwest. Weather this morning feels like 22 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning is expected to be around 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 9%. In the afternoon, we have 31 degrees Celsius, scattered thunderstorms around 55%. That's quite massive. In the evening, it drops to 24 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 20%. And overnight, it drops further to 22 degrees Celsius, foggy around 3%. And that's what we have for Ekiti southwest this morning.
All right, from Ekiti, we head back to Osun in Osogbo this morning. And of course, we take this one. It's going to be around 25 degrees Celsius in Osun this morning. And later in the morning, it rises by 5 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy with humidity at 4%. And there will be a promise of scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. Weather rises just by 2 degrees to 32 degrees Celsius, humidity at 44%. And by evening, it drops to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, 0 chance of humidity. And overnight, it drops further to 25 degrees Celsius, cloudy, and humidity goes back to 2% right there in Osun today.
And from Osun, we cross to Ilorin, East Kwara. Weather this morning feels like 24 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning is expected to be around 29 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 1%. In the afternoon, we have 34 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 17%. In the evening, it drops to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 15%. And overnight, it drops further to 24 degrees Celsius, cloudy around 2%. And that's what we have for Ilorin East this morning.
All right, that takes us straight to the north central. And remaining there, we'll go to Suleja in Niger State, and that is the largest state in Nigeria. Weather is currently at 28 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning, rises to 31 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, 0 chance of humidity. And by afternoon, it rises further to 35 degrees Celsius mostly cloudy, and humidity rises to 19%. There will be a drop to 29 degrees Celsius in the evening. It will be partly cloudy, humidity at 2%, and overnight it drops further to 26 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, with humidity maintaining 2% right there in Suleja, Niger State today.
And from Suleja, we cross to Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, weather this morning feels like 28 degrees Celsius, and later in the morning is expected to be around 31 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 0%. In the afternoon, we have 34 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 2%. In the evening, it drops to 28 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 2%. And overnight, it drops further to 26 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 2%. And that's what we have for FCT Abuja this morning.
All right, let's take this one from Port Harcourt very quickly. Weather in the south this morning, Port Harcourt River State is currently at 21 degrees Celsius. And later in the morning, it will rise by 4 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. It will be cloudy with humidity at 16%. And by afternoon, it will be mostly cloudy, rising just by a degree Celsius to 26 degrees Celsius. Humidity also rises by 4% to 20%. And in the evening, it will drop to 23 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, and humidity will be at 15%. Overnight, it will drop by 2 degrees Celsius to 21 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy, with zero chance of humidity right there in Port Harcourt River State today. All right.
Okay, from Port Harcourt, we cross to Kano Municipal, which is the final state for this morning, where the feels like 27 degrees Celsius, and later it's expected to be around 33 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 0%. In the afternoon, we have 38 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny around 0%. In the evening, it drops to 32 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy around 0% as well. And overnight, it drops further to 27 degrees Celsius, mostly cloudy around 0%. And that's what we have for Kano Municipal this morning.
All right, that will be all we can take on weather report this morning. We say thank you for being a part of the show so far. Do well to link up with us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X, formerly Twitter, at Dominion Cast. You can watch us live on our website at www.dominion.org.ng, dominion.org.ng. Do well to leave us a comment on our YouTube channel at Dominion Broadcast, and of course like our Facebook page at Dominion Broadcast Television. It is time to go on a quick break, and when we return, we take the news. We'll be back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live? Like never before. Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@dominion.org.ng or visit our socials on Instagram at Dominion Broadcast.
Dominion Broadcast, your channel of choice.
Hello and welcome. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. Ibadan, Amoluwayemi Adelakun. The federal government has dismissed claims that Nigeria is on the brink of collapse, insisting the country is making steady progress in tackling its security and economic challenges. Speaking in Abuja at the 81st General Assembly and 23rd Annual General Meeting of the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, dismissed what he called pessimistic narratives about the nation's future. He cited ongoing military operations and improved intelligence sharing as key to weakening criminal networks and restoring stability, especially in northern regions. On the economy, Idris pointed to rising reserves and reforms while urging stronger media collaboration to combat misinformation and promote national unity. The National Assembly Joint Committee on Petroleum Resources has passed a vote of confidence in Tantita Security Services Nigeria Limited and Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited over effort to secure oil pipelines and curb crude theft. 3 petitions challenging the pipeline surveillance contract were dismissed after petitioners failed to appear before the committee to defend their claims. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, emphasized the importance of protecting oil assets amid global development, noting ongoing challenges with accountability and persistent theft in some areas. Chairman of the House Committee on Petroleum Resources, Mr. Henry Okoje, further added that the surveillance framework involving private operators and host communities has strengthened pipeline protection and supported production. Leaders and members of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, have staged a major protest in Abuja, opposing decisions by Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, that it undermined democracy and party autonomy. The Occupy INEC demonstration drew prominent figures including Rotimi Amechi, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Rabiu Kokansu, Ralph Aregbesola, Aminu Tambuwa, and Dino Melai to Maitama roundabout. According to reports, protesters sang the former national anthem in defiance of its replacement by President Bola Tinubu in 2024. Speaking for the group, Obi urged Nigerians to defend democracy as the dispute over ADC leadership continues. Residents of the Ife-Hegbewa Soccer Community Development Association in Oduono, Kekere Ibadan along Racton Road have appealed to the Oyo State government for urgent intervention over the deplorable state of their roads. Tawo Larawaji report on the worsening condition of the road.
Soccer Community Development Association in Oduono, Kekere Ibadan along Racton Road have called on the Oyo State government to urgently intervene in the deplorable condition of roads within their area. The community, which comprises about 57 villages, including Okpa, Akpadaba, Fawe, Ababoke, Akiosun, Oridagugu, Lanase, Ojoekun, Olu, and Alobe, say the poor state of the roads has continued to hinder movement, economic activities, and access to basic services. Speaking on behalf of the community, the General Chairman, Alhaji Yusuf Olabode, alongside former Chairman Oladosu Osawe, lamented the prolonged neglect of the road.
We went to some area, like Brief us is to read our road, which we will spend a lot of money. We're collecting, we're taxing ourselves to get all this money to do this thing. So we appeal to the state government, any assistance they can do to us on this road, because we have a lot of problems. We have about 21 zones in this community. About 10,000 people are staying here. This is the Ratcom, we call it Ratcom Road.
The local government, that we should relate more with the local government, but we have been relating with the local government with nothing to show for it. So it's like we are between the devil and deep blue sea. We don't know, I don't know whether you have accessed this road, you know that the road is thoroughly bad. You can see the efforts that have been made by administrations. You can see this piece of sand, and that's how we have been doing it. But now we want government to come to our aid. People in this place, I would say we are over 1 million. We are over 1 million, but it's like they just parked us aside.
Some residents of the area, including Areyi Bosede, Olatunji Abimbola and Edafemi Adeyemo, who is the immediate past chairman of Zone J, expressed varying concerns about the situation.
This road is nearly claiming lives per day. There was a day we will remove one bike and one woman with strapping a baby at the back under a vehicle here. I have a wound here that is still there paining me because of bike. I have my vehicle, I cannot bring it out again because anytime we bring a vehicle out, you have to do one thing or the other. It's either 22,000, 50,000 because of harm, because of tire, because of everything. We've tried our best, but I think our best is not enough.
But problem ta need you, níbi báyìí ní ojú ọ̀nà. Tójò bá ti dé every year, la máa ní issue. In fact, landlord mi, wọ́n á kúrò ní àdúgbò tán máa lọ gbalé sí gbòòrò. Tó jẹ́ pé ìgbà tójò bá tún lọ, wọ́n máa tún padà wá sí ilé. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn dẹ̀ ń jábọ́ lórí ọ̀kadà, ẹ wo ọ̀kadà bó ṣe ń lọ yìí. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń jábọ́ tó jẹ́ pé ẹnu mọ́tò ni wọ́n máa bọ́ sí. Most of the people ń fara pa. A kàn nílò help ìjọba láti ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Kán bá wa ṣe ojú ọ̀nà yìí. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ rí já sílẹ̀ yìí. Àwa fúnra wa community la máa ń fowó la máa ń contribute owó láti fi já.
And all along we have been trying as a community. If you look from the end that we have been coming, you see a lot of works that we have been doing. It is a personal and a collective community effort that we've been put into place. We have tried, we have convinced so many governments, successive governments in this community, in this local government. We ought to no avail.
Also speaking, the Baale of Odo Okun and environs, Ishaka Raimi Ajibola, noted that the community has endured the poor road conditions for years.
Ojú ọ̀nà tí ọ̀dà láti àìmọye ọdún sẹ́yìn, a sì rí ìjọba kankan kan náwó sí wa. Àwa àwọn community àtàwa tá a jólóyè ibẹ̀ náà là ń fọwọ́sowọ́ tá à ń dá tọrọ kọ́bọ̀ tá a fi ń tún sí.
In the same vein, Oladokun Ahmed, chairman of motorcycle riders, and Babatunde Felix, chairman of tricycle riders in the community, appealed to the government to come to their aid, stressing that the condition of the road is affecting transportation and livelihoods.
Lójú ọ̀nà yìí pé ojú ọ̀nà yìí kò dára rárá, ó máa ń ba ọ̀kadà wa jẹ́, a sì ń náwó bèrèbèrè lórí ọ̀kadà yẹn. Kádà kan tójò bá ti rọ̀ báyìí kò sí bá a ti máa ń ṣiṣẹ́. Àwọn ṣubú, àwọn community náà sọ̀rọ̀ wípé àwọn ń ba nígbà ń gbé àwọn ṣubú gbẹ̀gẹ́ ìṣe fọ́ọ̀tì tiwa tẹ́ bá ti pé ojú ọ̀nà bá dáa ọ̀kadà ò lè máa ṣubú.
We now pleading to the government to please to help us to do this road because the money we are spending on this Maruwa, as this road is spoiling our Maruwa.
They are therefore appealing to the Oyo State government to act swiftly so they can enjoy the dividends of democracy like other communities. Taiwo Olanrewaju, reporting for Dominion News.
In business, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has doubled Dangote Refinery's crude oil supply to 10 cargoes, boosting prospects for improved fuel availability. President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, reviewed this in the report, stating that the refinery received increased supply of crude oil from the state-owned oil firm in March, compared to an average of about 5 cargoes monthly since late 2024. Dangote said the shipment included 6 cargoes paid for in Naira and 4 in dollars under the crude supply arrangements between the refinery and the NNPC. The development comes as Nigeria moves to shore up local feed production following disruptions in global oil supply chains caused by the recent U.S.-Israel attack on Iran, which has affected crude flows from the Middle East. And in sports, the Nigeria Olympic Committee has announced June 27, 2026 as the date for this year's Olympic Day celebration, with plans on the way to stage a nationwide event. The annual initiative under the global auspices of Olympic solidarity aims to encourage Nigerians of all ages to embrace core Olympic ideas and the benefits of regular exercise. NOC President Abu Gumar said the celebration seeks to connect younger and older generations through shared physical activity. Chairman of the Sport for All Commission, Abdul Ibrahim, added that this year's campaign emphasizes inclusivity and collective participation across communities. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. And the hence Daybreak News on Dominion Television. I'm Buluwayemi Adelako saying thank you for watching and good morning.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast and on X at DominionCasts. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.
I welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us this morning. This is Newspaper Headlines and Analysis. I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. We start with The Guardian this morning and I have the banner headline that says Opposition explores options as ADC PDP question INEC's neutrality. It's been a tussle between ADC and of course INEC in the last few days. Another headline is saying CSO's youth storm. GJ's office urged him to contest. That's talking about Goodluck Jonathan. They're trying to convince him to contest for presidency come 2027. Don't forget, it didn't start now. I think it started around 2024, 2025, trying to convince him to contest. But it's not said whether he's going to do that or not. And then I really cannot tell now until, but it decides to come out to say he's going to contest or not. And away from that, we have a line that says 2027, don't give power to APC by boycotting polls. Adebayo urges Nigerians. Another headline is saying finality of Supreme Court ruling does not translate to infallibility in public eye. Still taking headlines from The Guardian, I have this one that says Nigeria making progress not on the brink of collapse. That's coming from federal government. They are trying to assure Nigerians. I remember that John Campbell wrote a book many years ago, and then they called that Nigeria dancing on the brink. And now, 2026, it appears that most Nigerians are not, buying whatever it is the federal government is saying to say Nigeria is not going to collapse. It's not at the brink of collapse. So be rest assured. It depends on whether the federal government can keep to this and ensure that things will go back to normal. And away from that, I also have this headline that says Akpabio Commission's Lagos project tax state and modern Nigeria. And from The Guardian, we cross to Vanguard. This morning, I have the bonnet line. It says, ADC lists 6-point demands at INEC protest. Atiku, Obi Kwakanso orders lead protest in Abuja. Don't kill democracy. Obi Amechi reject one-party rule. Speaking about one-party state, I think not just the ADC now, even members of the Labour Party are actually complaining about the fact that with what INEC is doing with ADC, the coalition party, if care is not taken, we might not have more than one person on the ballot for the presidential elections. But I don't see that happening. Regardless, I think we should have at least have about 1 or 2 persons on the ballot. Another writer is saying no cause for alarm over ADC crisis. David Mark assures PDP ADC leaders hold closed-door meeting. INEC populated by card-carrying members of APC. That's coming from Senator Marafa. And from the Vanguard this morning, let's cross to the Punch newspaper and have a headline that says, Wike backed PDP firms over Makinde ADC alliance plans. Oyo Governor Atiku Obi, Kwakwanso Amechi Mark, Old High Stakes meeting. More new platform. Are we going to see a merger? We are not sure. Away from that line, we also have this one that says Senate President, Governors unveil Lagos mega project. Another headline is saying Bochi APC split over Governor's defection move. And then finally, taking headlines from the Punch, I have this one that says Youth Rally Jonathan for 2027 presidential bid. Away from that, let's cross to Daily Independent, and I have the banner headline this morning that says PDP ADC leaders meet over crisis in parties. Atiku Obi, Mark Aragwashala does protest at INEC headquarters. And then away from that, I also have this one that says 2027 poll, lawyers query 135 billion naira for election litigation. I think this is causing issues across the country because, yesterday we discussed this extensively, and then I listened to Femi Falanum, SAN, and then he said, a SAN, even a senior advocate, will not take more than 3 billion naira per brief. So why is it that the federal government is trying to budget 135 billion naira for election litigation? Don't forget, in 2023, we witnessed so many court cases. That's the highest we've seen, in the last 10, 20 years in Nigeria. And then now we have 135 billion naira. Are we expecting that there will be issues after the election? And then why are we budgeting this amount? And then away from that line, we also have this one that says a major capital market boost. Nigeria gains frontier market status. That's impressive. Away from that, I also have this one that says tight policy, energy volatility, stall credit growth in Nigeria. And from Daily Independent, we cross to Daily Trust this morning. I have this line that says 2027 ADC PDP close ranks. And away from that, Nigeria's inflation remains high despite rebasing, and that's coming from World Bank. Obviously, the inflation is biting. Regardless of the reforms that we are seeing, hearing about here and there on paper, whether it's working in practical, we really cannot tell. And away from that line, we also have this one that says Tanzania president orders officials to travel by bus amid fuel shortages. Bochi APC divided over Bala Mohammed's defection bid. We really cannot tell where Bala Mohammed is going. A lot of controversy concerning this defection of Bala Mohammed. From Daily Trust, let's cross to Daily Sun this morning. And I have this line that says 2027 PDP ADC leaders may forge common front. It appears that the newspapers this morning are talking about this whole meeting that happened between the PDP, a faction of the PDP, and ADC. And away from that, I also have a vision that says ADC Mark Atiku Obi orders protest at INEC, insist on Amupiton's sack. This is like the second time that some persons are calling for his sack. Don't forget that a particular group, I think after his appointment, called for his sack because of some of the things he wrote, in this, I think is maybe thesis or dissertation now, and then some of his comment about the Christian genocide. They are saying he's not going to, do the right thing. They are saying he might be biased, majorly because of his stance on the Christian genocide and because of his faith, maybe. And now these people are calling for his sack as well, majorly because of what is going on within the APC, I beg your pardon, ADC, the coalition party. And away from that, I also have this one that says terrorism, 4 convict bag life imprisonment. Dangote refutes fuel price hike as US-Iran war enters ceasefire. And we might see a total calm this time around in the next few weeks, even as we progress. And I think it's going to heal the world, especially about this price that people are buying fuel now because of that war that happened. And away from that, let's cross to Nigerian Tribune. I have a headline that says why Tinubu didn't attend project commissioning in Lagos. That's coming from Presidency. Lagos has raised bar in quality product delivery. That's coming from the president. Don't forget that any little thing that happens in the country now, most persons will ask questions. Why is it that the president did not show up? I remember at a time when they were celebrating the Army Day, people ask questions. Why is it that the president did not show up? Even during when the whole attack happened in Plateau State, people were asking questions until the president decided to show up. So, I mean, he should be used to it by now, that people always question, the reasons why he didn't show up for a particular event. And away from that, we also have this one that says ADC leaders protest at INEC headquarters, ask commission to withdraw offensive correspondence to party, threatening coordinated civic action. And away from that, Delta governor approves 200,000 monthly tax fee allowance for medical doctors. I think that's a good one. Don't forget that we are still talking about we're going to strike. We're not going to strike. Speaking about the resident doctors right now. And the federal government, 501 billion naira bond raises strong indicator of market confidence, and that's coming from Genco's. And finally, still taking headlines from Nigerian Tribune this morning, I have this one that says pipeline surveillance contract, NAS committees pass vote of confidence in Tantita, NMPCA, and others. And I think that's how much we're going to take this morning. Speaking about headlines, it's time to take a short break, and when we come back, we move on to the big story. Please stay with us. I'm Oluwayemi Adelakun. We'll be right back.
Live from the heart of the action. Welcome to the nerve center of Next Level Broadcasting.
This is the OB van, where the studio meets the street.
Equipped with cutting-edge cameras, crystal clear audio, real-time switching, and broadcast control, we don't just capture moments, we deliver the experience live.
Anywhere, anytime, from stadiums to red carpets, breaking news to buzzing festivals, weddings, birthdays, and all sorts of ceremonies. We bring the world to your screen in real time.
It's not just a van, it's a complete mobile production house, a command center, a broadcast beast.
This is more than a broadcast. This is the OB Van difference. Live, loud, limitless.
Ready to go live like never before? Book the OB van today and take your event to the world. One powerful broadcast at a time.
To book, call 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Email marketing@domain.
Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Live. This is the big story. And this is the time to talk about big stories. It's your front line to conversation shaping Nigeria's political future. As the countdown to 2027 begins, new alliances are forming, old loyalties are shifting, and the battle lines are gradually being redrawn. Today, we examine a developing power play that could redefine the country's political landscape. But before then, Samson Balogo is my name. The conversation around a united opposition gained fresh momentum following the Occupy INEC protest in Abuja yesterday, where civil society groups, political actors, and democracy advocates gather at the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, demanding transparency, electoral reforms, and credibility in future elections. The protest wasn't just symbolic. It brought together voices across party lines, including our opposition figures and reform-minded, as they were quoted, stakeholders who believed in the current system needs urgent fixing ahead of 2027. Shortly after, attention shifted to a high-level coalition meeting held in Abuja, and that was done at the residence of former Senate President, Senator David Mark. And reports has it that aggrieved political heavyweights, including Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, and other dissatisfied with internal party crisis, especially within the PDP, met to explore a possible alliance under the African Democratic Congress. The idea is quite simple, but complex. The execution is that building a united front strong enough to challenge the dominance of the ruling party. But Nigeria's political history raises a critical question. Can these powerful individuals truly put aside ambition and differences for a common goal? And to help us unpack and break this down, we are joined by Sam Nwoko, the deputy editor at the Nigerian Tribune. He joins us this morning with his, a wealth of experience when it comes to electoral monitoring and observation when it comes to vital decisions being made over the years in the political system in Nigeria. Thank you for joining us once again. Sam Nwoko, good to have you here.
Thank you. Good to be here. Good morning, viewers.
You have monitored quite a number of elections in the history of Nigeria. And you have been able to see how coalitions and alliances are formed. And most recently of them all was the G5 governors. And also we used to have the NPDP that moved and had alliance with the then Progressives, the All Progressives Congress. And we also had a time when the Congress for Progressive Change, CPC, had to merge with the ACN at that time to form the APC we now have today. During that period, some were aggrieved. They were not happy with party dynamics, but they stayed there. And that's where you have the current president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He wasn't all happy with all the decisions made at the time, but he knew what he wanted to do, and he was patient within the party. And now today is the president of the country. But we have also seen alliances that did not last. They come in together as aggrieved party members, create a union, and then at the end of the day, they all find their separate ways and they are not on the same table. I will cite an instance of the G5 governors. Iyesom Wike, Seyi Makinde, Okeze Ikpeazu, you had Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, and also former governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. They all came together. And today, I don't think any one of them still talks to another. They have gone their separate ways. That being said, Sam Woko, what happened yesterday in Abuja, first of all, was the Occupy INEC protest led by the heavyweights in the political arena in Nigeria. Senator David Mark, Rauf Aregbesola, Rotimi Amechi, mostly people from the ADC. And now, after that, they had a powerful meeting. They also had in attendance the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, and a few other people who felt like they want to have a common front ahead of 2027. So do you see this as a potential threat to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, at the national level?
Once again, good morning and good morning, viewer. If I am to answer yes or no, I will say no. It is, or let me say yes, it's a threat. But sometimes threats don't go beyond threats. They have to make their threats seen. You know, I can see someone threatening, or I can hear you threatening, or I can read your threats, depending on the medium through which the threat is presented. However, if I see it as a threat to what the APC has already, the foundation it has laid, what the government is planning,
the
and
preparedness.
so on and so on. I mean, the preparedness of the APC in totality. If what they did yesterday was enough to remove them from office, well, I'll say for me, no, it's not enough, because it's coming a little bit late, and it's coming from the point of view of desperation. You know, so far it's still looking like a disjointed effort. They are trying to bring, you know, parties from here and there to form a whole, and it takes a lot. It takes, such things take time, such things take patience, such things take expertise, and of course endurance and sustainability. So I don't know if the time is enough to be able to build something solid enough to dislodge the APC as we have it today. So for me, the answer would be no.
Okay, you just spoke about the seriousness of this coalition. So what you saw, can you say it's a strategy or just another political posturing?
It's a strategy, because they appear, on the one hand, they appear serious, and on the other hand, they may not look at the vagaries, the issues surrounding this. So it is not something, I don't think it's frivolous, because it looks like nobody saw it coming. Let's even start from there. There was no time it was conjured publicly that such a meeting would happen. So that is on the one hand. On the other hand is the birthing of ADC itself. Not many people saw it coming. Not many, you know, when ADA was floated and the INEC gave its reasons, including the one that happened to the party by Seriake Dixon, which some of us, yeah, you know, we just said, okay. Then the ADC came. And when ADC came, it took everybody
by surprise,
including the ruling APC. So they are showing glimpses of political sagacity. They are showing glimpses of ruggedness, you know. But I don't know where this would lead us. Maybe it will detract from some of the things the APC had planned. But hey, in totality, will it be able to do what they want? I don't think so, as we speak today. But some things definitely will change. A lot of things, I think, going forward, will change. Changes will take place. So I'm expecting that, yes.
So is it safe to say what we are seeing now might likely look like another round of familiar political talks?
Yeah, of course, even when political opponents come together, it's still familiar political talks. Of course, you'll be surprised that Seyi Makinde is in the same room with Atiku Abubakar. You know, compared to what happened just before, less than 4 years ago in 2023. So that is what politics is for you. Now they have come together. G5, which stood solidly or strongly against Atiku Abubakar, is now part of the G5, is now aligning with Atiku Abubakar and forming an alliance, the type which we had in previous times in this country. So what I am saying is a situation in which these politicians will come together, present a candidate. The total, I mean, the goal is to ensure that there is a candidate on the ballot. On which party it is, that is what we do not know yet, and it's still looking like it's a tall order, and we hope they will get it.
So just before the powerful meeting that happened in Abuja at Senator David Mark's home, we saw a protest led by politicians and some civil society organizations. So would you say that was politically motivated, or it is truly a protest to show INEC what needs to be done ahead of 2027?
Now, the protest has been long in coming because from what many people have, many on the political turf, by many I mean including politicians themselves, analysts, observers, lawyers, you know, many people have been weighing in on this issue. And it is not even a surprise that some people will be so angry as to go protesting. You know, they will take to the streets to say, INEC, you have not done this well. INEC, what you are doing is wrong. So I'm not surprised that there were protests yesterday. That's on the one hand, on the part of politicians. On the part of some Nigerian people, a section of the general public, people are angry. Yes, you can't take it away from the people that they are angry. They don't like the turn of events in the country. There are those who are not happy with the security situation. There are those who are not happy with the economic situation. There are those who are not happy with the power situation, and so on and so forth. So people can leverage on this to express their grievances against the ruling party, because in all things you are going to point to the ruling party as the agent provocateur for some of these things. However, in overall consideration, you know that somebody, some people, someone, some group, some alliance has to take the lead in these things. And that is what the Atiku, Amechi, David Mark, and so on and so forth gave yesterday. How far can they go? That is what we are now going to see.
Some have argued that these are still the same old horses. Nothing different. These are the people who were in this same party they are condemning just a few years, just about 2-3 years ago, for some a few months ago. And now you have come back to say the same political party you worked so hard to build, or maybe to win an election, is now the same party you are condemning now. So what's the difference between the new coalition front you are building and the party you just left? Isn't it the same people moving from one party to the other?
The difference is the goal. Each political dispensation is fraught. I use the word pointedly, purposefully. Is fraught with its own vagaries, with its own troubles, with its own goals, you know, focus, and so on and so forth. So now the new goal is get a credible somebody on the ballot. Who would it be? They don't know yet. That's one of the goals. The new goal is also that those who are aggrieved, who don't want the APC to run it alone and run Nigeria roughshod by so-called denying the opposition the opportunity to, contest everybody is coming together to say, okay, we don't want APC to achieve this, and we also want to present a candidate. So on those two fronts, they are fighting to see how best they can get this thing resolved and get themselves on the ballot, considering the fact that INEC has taken some steps which points to the fact that if nothing is done, they are going to end up as a in the waste basket with every effort they had, with all the efforts they had put in before now. So what brought them together? People who are in previous, previous opponents who are now teammates are brought together by goals. So that is how this thing, each new political dispensation comes with its own peculiarities, and this new peculiarity, before now, the front man of the G5 was Wiki. Then solidly supported by our own Governor Sheyi Makinde, Samuel Otom, who was still in power, Okezie Ikpeazu, Ifeanyi Ugwuanyan. All of them came together. They had a goal. The goal was to ensure that the PDP had a certain candidate. But when Atiku won the presidential ticket of the party, they said no. The North had done it 8 years, so it should be the turn of the South. That was the goal. Now, the goal is different. And since the schism in the G5, it has remained different. And the unfortunate thing now is that some of the people in that G5 are either with others, or they are completely shut out of things. And this is the new dispensation.
Okay, now, follow-up question to that is that some people back from that quick break. The show is still Daybreak Live, and this is the big story. I still have with me in the studio Sam Nwoko, with whom we have been making sense of yesterday's powerful meeting between some of the political gladiators who now found themselves in the opposition in Nigeria right now. And I was about to ask Sam Nwoko one very big question about the accusation that it is the voice of Esau, the voice of Jacob, the hand of Esau, that one way or the other, the presidency, I don't know, maybe the president, has a hand in the misery that has befallen some of the political parties that are meant to be major political parties in Nigeria, I mean opposition parties. Talk about the PDP, talk about the ADC itself, and it's becoming more and more of things that are happening too. But then someone mentioned a trend yesterday, and I want to talk about this trend. He said, Peter Obi, each party he goes to, there's a crisis. He was in the Labour Party, there was a crisis. While he was in the PDP, there was. He's in the ADC now, and then they now have a problem, a crisis on their hand. And also, the ADC as a political party, is there a chance that this crisis is solved before 2027 general elections? We have a very short time frame to the election.
We don't just have a very short time frame to the elections. The new electoral law has given a kind
There's
of
a clear timetable.
a stifling condition for these parties to be able to turn themselves into what they hope will be the special purpose vehicle for which they went into some of these political parties. So, I don't want to talk about the trend, but I want to talk about the general impression. The trend that every party P2B went to. No, you see, Labour Party, when it started having gaining ascendancy and popularity, was because P2B went there, and the Gen Z, the obedience, as also they call them, moved there and created a very, very, very mighty ripple in the political circle. So, when 2023 ended, with the way it ended, with all the accusations, and because a lot of people still don't believe that the elections were free and fair. When 2023 ended and we were gearing towards 2027, they knew, by they, I mean those who were jolted by what Peter Obi did, knew that allowing him to gain more grounds will create a very huge problem for them in the political circle. So they have to do something about it, because this thing we are talking about is a war. And in war, all is fair. In politics, all is fair until the results are called. When a winner emerges, you now begin to look back to rebuild destroyed infrastructure. You begin to rebuild bridges, you repair houses, and you begin to call people back to, So politics is war without a gun, more or less. So that is what is going on as far as I'm concerned. The fight is not just that certain people are kept away, properly kept away so as not to disrupt the flow of things. The fight is also that certain political parties will never get settled so as to do what they plan to do. So it is war, and it is being fought from all fronts. Somebody once asked if INEC is one of the tools used in the war. I mean, it's a war, and
every tool is necessary.
Every tool becomes handy. Every tool becomes necessary. Every tool becomes useful. But INEC is called independent. In all fairness and in all analysis, the INEC is independent. So those are some of the things. Then the accusation that the ruling party and perhaps the presidency is the one that is the hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob thing. Like I said, in politics, every tool is very necessary. This thing didn't start today. And when the accusations started, examples were cited. When examples were cited, people felt, okay, it may be that these people are whining even before the war starts in itself. So you do not rule out the fact that some people are using what they have to get what they want. One of the reasons why I think this thing might be true is the NDC. When NDC was about to be registered, they were told that their logo, according to Seriake Dixon, their logo is two fingers. They said their logo looks like the logo of the APC. That was the reason Seriake said INEC gave them. INEC said your logo looks like the broom. Two fingers look like the broom. So for this reason, they are not going to register them. They had to go to court. And they fought from the High Court till the Supreme Court, which now said, no, now, how can two fingers look like a broom? And they eventually got registered only recently. And when this was done, they went and became... So these parties themselves are formed as special purpose vehicles. They call them SPVs now. So as SPVs, they are getting ready and looking for people to admit.
Now come in.
So when people now come in, you now begin to hear that certain things were not done properly. Nobody expected what is happening in ADC. We know that when ADC was formed, there was nothing to point to Gombe coming up to say this or that. What we knew was that Okera Smooth, who was the national chairman of the party, along with the ESCO of the party, came, they addressed the press, they did all that we thought was supposed to be done. They resigned properly and said, look,
consider the party,
you know,
the new leadership.
They did, and lawyers were there, very senior lawyers, both on both sides and so on, and this agreement was signed. But hey, there will always be a loophole to explore by people who are watching you. So that is what they are going through now. Because one of the accusations Bolaji Abdullahi is saying is that this Gombe man could not afford even a lawyer, let alone a senior advocate. But now he has more than 1, 2, 3, 4 senior advocates who are writing letters and fighting his battles on his behalf. So where did the fund suddenly come from? And we do not know exactly what his job is. Same thing with the people who are following the guy from Abia State who addressed the press yesterday and said, you know, making it the top faction of the party. So where is he coming from? So when you look at
someone also came up and said she's also a factional leader of the APC.
So when that one came, they now said, okay, it's aura for aura. Aura for aura, but hey, look at the timing. And look at the restrictions.
Who stands to lose more in this battle?
Well, of course, it is those who are contesting for offices. They are the ones who stand to lose more. They are the ones who know what they are pursuing. And for some of us who are just observers and who are doing analysis as we are trying to do now, we'll just be watching them and they will definitely be dragging the country along. For now, everybody knows that governance has stopped, basically. In Oyo State, the governor has permanently or thereabout or something close to permanently moved to Abuja. You know, same thing with the presidency. You notice that even if they are inaugurating projects now, even if they are working on anything, it is all to point to the campaigns to say, yes, we are doing this on your behalf. Recently, part of the things they listed as the achievements of the federal government is the loan they got from the historic visit of the president to England, where they say, okay, the money he got from there would be part of the things they will use to, you know, upgrade our ports and make the economy better and so on and so forth. Power minister, the back and forth is still going on. Everybody knows the power situation is not very good, so that they have kept quiet, and they told us that 3.3 trillion naira was paid, and we've been, you know, the story has been running. And of course, the controversies notwithstanding, we all know that with that announcement, whether the Gencos got the money or not, it has already gone into the news. Some will be debating that. Some will be debating the fact that this money had been coming in stages like that, and we don't know which is which. So it's all politics now, and at the end of the day, who will be the loser? It is those who contest elections and who didn't get either the ticket or get to win.
So now let's talk about the coalition itself. There are likelihood of a different set of combinations when you look at the ADC as it stands. You have Rabi Musa Kwakonso, you have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, you have Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, Rauf Aregbesola. Even though they are party men now, they are not contesting elective positions according to what's happening, including Senator David Mark. But there are big names in that building that would love to be on the ballot. But if that did not happen, if it doesn't go their way, maybe the combination eventually who's chosen to deputize you does not favor one of them. Would there likely be an internal implosion?
On the side of the coalition?
The ADC, yes.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is impossible in politics, like I said. now we are looking at Kwankwaso and Obi. Everything from all indications is pointing to an alliance on that front. You know, for me, one of the things I know they are trying to work out is also to see that they dislodge Atiku Abubakar from getting the ticket of the party. It is also all part of the plot.
So there are meetings after meetings.
Of course, there are always meetings after meetings.
Schemings, negotiations, permutations, combinations.
Definitely, it will continue until something happens. And what is that? Once someone gets the ticket, the next thing is for you to defend that ticket. And in defending the ticket, you may not be able to carry everybody along the way you had carried them when there was hope.
That they would also get the ticket.
You know, when there was hope on the table, everybody had it. But once hope is off the table and someone has it, by hope I mean being the flag bearer of the party, others will have to find their ways. It will not even be a surprise that some of the people who you think are working for ADC are also in a way working for other political parties to be able to propel that party through the barriers mounted by the ADC as an opposition. So, I mean, nothing is foreclosed in politics. It's just like security. You don't take anything for granted in security. Everything has to be taken into consideration. And once you do this, it doesn't mean there are no loopholes. They will still explore the loopholes and so on. But are you strong enough to stand for what is coming? That is what is going on now. And the ADC, like I said, yes, they are making efforts, but is what the APC is mounting now, is it strong enough to resist what is coming? I don't think so. I still maintain that. Okay,
now let's also look at oppositions, the history of oppositions in the country. Since the return of democracy in 1999, PDP was there for 16 years. And of course, that was when President Muhammadu Buhari took over from GEJ, His Excellency Goodluck Ebele Jonathan at that time. Now, the APC is moving towards the 12th year in office. And there might likely be an extension after the election to say, oh, we are also going in for 16 years in office. So is this only about competition, about we want to match what you've done? Or the fact that Nigeria has seen so much opposition that can they actually believe that this is different to what we've been saying before?
Well, for me, you know, I started by saying that each political dispensation has its own peculiarities. The peculiarities of this current political dispensation is different from what had happened before now. You know, when we trace it from 1999, when we had APP, we had AD, and we had PDP. You know, in the Southwest here, it was a clean sweep for AD. You know, I was doing my NYSC then, so we had to wear our crests, our crested vest, to be able to do election duties and so on and so forth. And I know very well that everybody that came out to vote voted for Alliance for Democracy.
That was the era of
Olufalaye. And you know, AD had an alliance with APP to present Olufalaye. So it was Olufalaye against Olusegun Obasanjo. But the powers that be, those who formed the PDP, North, South, East, West, and so on, we are solidly behind Obasanjo at that time. And he won the election. And Nigerians were eager to leave the military era behind, even though the military tension had softened by that time by the way Abdulsalami Abubakar did his things. So we were in UI, we were students, and we saw that the tension had gone. So when the elections came, what people wanted was, let's just get... I mean, it was Peter Adeyemo that won from Merua, that won the Oyo South senatorial district that time. You know, it was Peter Adeyemo, but I wouldn't know if somebody from Merua would easily win the way he won in 1999. So all I'm trying to say is that people voted to ensure that the military is done away with. After that time, our democracy began to
to evolve.
Evolve. Let me use the word. I almost said our democracy began to get wiser. As it grew, it got wiser. And by getting wiser, in 2003, there was a different dispensation. That was when the Obasanjo came up and did away with I mean, he tried to form alliance to tell people that, look, this is my base, don't let me lose my base and so on. And by that time, he had started having issues with his deputy, the vice president, who is Atiku Abubakar, and so on and so forth. So each dispensation comes with its own hue. It comes with its own tone. It comes with its own voice and its own peculiarities and colors and so on and so forth. So 99 was different, 2003 was different. By 2007, it had become a totally different thing entirely. People began to wonder if democracy was indeed what it needed to be and so on. And that time we had begun to speak about homegrown democracy and so on. By 2000 and, after 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2012, we had begun to lay foundations for what we have today. You know, Yaradua came, Goodluck Jonathan came. Goodluck Jonathan, when he came, gave us, Yaradua and Jonathan. He was
more of a Democrat.
Yaradua and Jonathan gave us the best semblance of democracy in this country. They gave us that freedom. And it is on that freedom, if there was no freedom, if there was no wherewithal, no space to operate, no space to be able to spread your wings, it would have been very difficult for APC to emerge. They would have done. That is why people who are seeing beyond what we ordinary people are seeing, that is why they are saying that the APC does not want an opposition in 2027. They have seen all this because, look at what is happening in the judiciary. The politicians are the ones who would initiate the crisis, and then they will involve the judiciary and also involve INEC. So it is the politicians that will be dragging the INEC
and then drag other people into it.
So when they suck them into these things, you overlook the politicians to begin to shout the name of INEC, you shout the name of judiciary and so on. Or is it not here that people are accusing Wike of building houses for judges, building law school, building this and that? To what end? They say it's for him to gain favors from the judiciary. It's an allegation, it's on the table, people are still debating it. The same thing, now INEC is on. Yesterday there was a protest which was tagged Occupy INEC. Why are they occupying INEC? Because they believe INEC is not doing what it's supposed to do, that INEC is not neutral, and so on and so forth. So it is the politicians that will create these scenarios. They will suck in INEC, they will suck in the judiciary, and even carry the populace along. So when you look at it in the final analysis, you will see that creating a different scenario is very, very easy because it's already in existence. And by that, it means that by 2027, which we are looking at, you are going to see something very, very different from all the noise that is going on.
That we used to have. No, lastly, in 1 minute before we go, yesterday after the meeting, Governor Seyi Makinde was there, and news broke that Governor Seyi Makinde of the People's Democratic Party was at a meeting with some political heavyweights from the north and from the ADC. But then, the faction of Years of Wiki, recognized by INEC as we speak, said after the meeting, dissociated themselves from the said meeting, that there is no coalition between the PDP. They are saying the PDP, not factional PDP now, that there is no coalition between the PDP and the ADC whatsoever. So they have not gone to meet anybody. So are they trying to discredit the governor of Oyo State, or they are trying to set the record straight that the party now belongs solely to their own faction?
It is both. Like I said, in war, all is fair in a war until the war comes to the round table. They have to find a way to discredit what they are doing. And what are they saying? It is not PDP. They are not saying it is a faction of the PDP because they have not denied the fact that Seyi Makinde is a member of the PDP. They have not. That is on the one hand. On the other hand, they are also trying to discredit what they are doing. So it is not us, it is them. Who are the them?
They're still PDP.
Same PDP. So if we report that PDP has gone into an alliance with ADC, then it is for you in the PDP to begin to distill who and what has happened. So for me, as an individual, we are only looking at it from the broader perspective. But I want to believe that in the end, they are going to come up with something. They are going to come up with a kind of coalition, a basis for which they can throw a credible challenge in the general election. And that is what many of us are looking forward to see.
All right, thank you, Sam Nwoko, for joining us on the show this morning. It has been an eye-opening session with you.
Thank you.
Sam Nwoko is Deputy Editor of the Nigerian Tribune. Right. As the political chessboard ahead of 2027 continues to evolve, one thing stands clear. The stakes are high, and the margin for error is very slim. The Occupy INEC protest may have set the tone, but the real test lies in whether this emerging coalition can move from talks to tangible structure, from ambition to alignment. For Nigerians, this question goes beyond politics. It is about credibility, accountability, and the hope for a stronger democratic process. So, will this coalition hold, or will history repeat itself? That's the big story on Daybreak Live. And I am Samson Balogun. Up next is Trend Watch. Stay with us.
Welcome you back. Thank you for staying with us. It's time for Trend Watch, and I'm back on set with Samson Balogun. That was an intense conversation about coalition and whatever it is that is going on within the ADC as a party. So what we have this morning is saying that U.S. update Nigeria travel advisory for Americans, adds Plateau, Kwara and other states to do not travel list. And of course, I tried to look at some states that were on the list before this new announcement. We have Bono, we have Yobe, we have Kogi, even Jigawa already on the list before the update that we are seeing today. And of course, we have quite a number of other states like Bauchi, Gombe, Kaduna, Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, and even in southern Nigeria, Abia, Anambra, Bayelsa, Delta, Enugu, and Imo. So I'm wondering, what do we have left, out of the 36 states in the country? If you have like close to 20 states on that list.
Out of 36,
exactly,
or maybe 37, including the FCT.
Right, of do not visit. It speaks to, the rot in the system, speaking about insecurity, and it's getting worse by the day. And it's really sad that we are experiencing this as a country.
Well, it is sad. It is also worthy of note that it is not a mistake. It is an offshoot of the security challenge we have in Nigeria as a country. And it's really sad that this is happening. I mean, if you have 36 states plus the FCT makes it 37, and someone says about 20 of them are a no-go area for their citizens, it tells you how bad the security system is in the country and how it has worsened over the time. But it is not a new thing that this is happening. This is not the first time. You just said that the list was updated. Right. So meaning that it's been there from time since we began to have this kind of issue in the country. Places like Kwara that just witnessed a barrage of attacks from bandits just got added to the list. Plateau, that used to be one of the peaceful places in the country, except for communal crisis that they used to have, is now more or less like a hotspot for banditry and some other things. So it's just a normal thing for the U.S. to now say, look, it is it's going to happen. And it's not just about the U.S. alone. Australia, for example, once again traveled to many Nigerian states, including Plateau State. So it's not just about the U.S. Most times people get to talk about U.S. because of, I don't know, but then there are other countries.
Superpower, so
because there are other countries too that also, said some things about some particular places in the country. You'll be shocked that if you check and you research, countries like Ghana will also tell their citizens, if you are going to Nigeria, don't go to social places. It's just like that. Until Nigeria finds the right space to do the right thing, I think we'll continue to have this kind of situation. And before I leave that, this only points to the direction that investors will be discouraged. Visitors wouldn't want to come. Because what's the point in going to a country of 36 states and then about 20 of them are not accessible because of security challenge?
Do you know the problem now that even apart from visitors, I mean like foreigners now, even Nigerians are scared to come back home, whether for an event or anything. Do you know, I read a particular headline that someone came back from maybe the US or UK now and he died in an accident. He was coming for a wedding ceremony in Nigeria. You see,
it's not just about Nigerians who live abroad that don't want to come home. Okay, it's also about investors who would want to. I mean, many Nigerians are now abroad that they are potential investors when they come back home. Right. But unfortunately, they will not come because of the situation of things. You can imagine, even some people, they have had to leave their own communities and they have vowed never to go back there because of what they've seen. There is a particular community in Kwara State, Umugo. That place now is deserted. About roughly 10,000 to 15,000 people live in that community, and they have had to leave their communities, and some of them said they are never going back there because they know how many people have been killed because of this issue of banditry. And if care is not taken, it's moving. It started from the Far East, which the Northeast, Northwest, is coming down.
If care is not taken,
it's coming down. It's in the North Central, and the North Central states share borders with Southwestern states, and that includes includes Ekiti, because if you go to Ekiti State and Kwara, they share border. Moba local government is where.
We've seen several attacks, right?
It's going to happen because if you fail to stop it at a point and then solve it there. Sometimes you have to contain an event, solve it within the confines of where it is happening, and the moment you allow it spread, then you have created more problems for yourself and even for the people, and that's not good for the world outlook. How do people see your country now? If 4, 5, 6 countries now say, oh, your country is a country of particular interest, then it tells you that people no longer rep your country out. They don't see your country as a country that is safe for anybody.
And it's
not
going
even for
to
your own
affect
citizens.
citizens that are living in these countries because, I mean...
And that's why you see more Nigerians now will
speaks
start
to-
applying for asylum in some other countries.
The UK is against it recently. I think Kemi Badenoch spoke about it. I watched an interview one time and she said they want to really focus on these people who are trying to just hide under that asylum, that we want to kick them out. And don't forget that Nigeria signed signed some MOUs recently that might result to sending some Nigerians back home without even getting through to the government first.
Well, the only thing is, if you fail to put your house in order, someone else will help you do it. And that's the situation with Nigeria.
Right.
Well, it's a fine place to leave this topic this morning. We say thank you for being a part of the show so far. Do well to link up with us again tomorrow on the same show, same station, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Dominion Television, your channel of choice. And don't forget to link up with us on all socials. Drop your comments, we'll take them on the other shows. And of course, we've got a lot of interesting shows lined up for you today. Do not forget to keep it there. Leave it there. Don't touch that dial. Samson Balogun is my name. As I always say, security business is everybody's business. Until tomorrow, keep being good out there. Keep being safe. Bye for now.
And I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. Thank you for being a part of this show. See you tomorrow.